Hello, and welcome to the 10th podcast. That is to say, Thriving in Technology. Your hosts are Sam Moulton, Petra Stefanova, and yours truly, Cecilia Taylor, all members of the Influence team here at NetApp. For this episode, we're excited to have Bhavna Mistry, Pathway Systems Engineering Manager for NetApp EMEA. Welcome, Bhavna.
Hi, Cecilia. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for making the time to be with us today. Back in November, Bhavna represented NetApp as a speaker during the European Women in Tech event. We caught up with her during the recent NetApp Insight in Barcelona and felt that she would be a great guest to come onto our podcast. We are looking so forward to talking with you, and I think that this would be a really great thing for us. Let's kick things off first by asking you a little bit more about who you are and what you do for NetApp.
So, Cecilia, I'm an SE manager, a solutions engineering manager. I'm based in the UK, but my team are EMEA-wide. So one of my team covers the EMEA Partner Solution Center, serving partners with a team of 15 out of Nuremberg, Germany, across the whole of EMEA. I have two architects who cover EMEA Global System Integrators, and then the rest of my team are technical partner managers in UK, Spain, and Middle East.
Wow, that's a pretty varied and spread out team.
Yes, they're all over the place, they are, but they're a great bunch, a really, really good team.
That's great. As I mentioned earlier, you recently participated in the European Women in Tech event. Can you tell us a bit more about the conference and what the overall and the theme of the conference entails?
Yes, so this was the first time I had been to the European Women in Tech myself, Cecilia, and it was in Amsterdam in the Netherlands. It was a 2-day event, and it really had a wide variety of presenters. So there were panel discussions by a group of ladies from HP. And I think the really important thing that came out of this event is that women can be in tech in both a technical role and also a non-technical role, but still working for a tech company. And, many of the speakers, whether they did a technical talk or whether they did one on personal development or more of a panel interview, they really talked about their experiences, working in diverse and cross-functional teams, and also, things that they had learned along the way throughout their careers as well. And that was really helpful for the audience. So many subjects, from blockchain to, developing AI solutions in 30 minutes, right through to personal development and career development, as well as careers advice on site as well. So it really was a great event and well attended by, I think, over 4,000 women across tech and also men as well. So open to everyone. So yeah, it really was a very popular event in Amsterdam.
Wonderful. One of the things I noticed was that you were a speaker at the conference and you did a presentation called Top 10 Tips on How to Survive and Thrive in This Industry. We'll definitely include that list in our show notes, but I wanted to ask you about a couple of questions specifically that there were tips that, since I wasn't there, would love to hear you talk a little bit about. You said tip number 7. Your face may not fit anymore. It's not personal. What does that mean?
Yeah, so I was talking about a specific experience there, Cecilia. Mm-hmm. So I started the talk talking about my early career at Sun. And, obviously there are some times when you make mistakes and how to learn from them and, good communications. And then when we got on to tip number 7, which is about your face may not fit anymore, when I left Sun, I then got married, and a few years later we had our first daughter. And after going back to work after 1 year on maternity leave, it was a difficult time because we had just moved house. We had a big mortgage on a brand new house, and 4 days later I was made redundant. So it was a real shock, and obviously not in the planning for career development and obviously, personal life as well. So it was a really difficult time. But I think, in hindsight, and it does take a long time to sort of get over these things, you then realize that, this is business, and, organizationals go through transformation We see that all the time at NetOut. We see that in many organizations as well. And so, change is inevitable and change is a constant. And sometimes, there are changes in the organization that do affect you. And so it's not personal, even though you may feel at the time it is. But also, I think it's important to note that, there are times when the organization that you work for may not fit for you anymore as well. So, sometimes for yourself, you then need to make a decision to move on. So, yeah, it was a difficult time for me. I did, was out of work for a little while. But I think the thing, that I really learned from that situation is, it's not personal. And also, we need to leverage our strengths. So, recognize what you're good at. Know your value in the market, know your worth, and don't let employers take advantage of your situation. So, stick to, what you do and, be strong about, believing in yourself, and also leverage your network. So a lot of colleagues out there, you come across over the years, and, they are your supporters as well. So leverage your network. And that's how I got into NetApp, from leveraging my network. So yeah, that's what number 7 means. Is it's sometimes these things happen. Businesses are transforming all the time, but in hindsight, it's often brings the best opportunities afterwards.
Good point. That's a good point that you meant. You also noted in this talk, which would be point number 4, that glass ceilings do exist, but only in your head. Can you elaborate on that a bit?
Yeah, definitely. I think sometimes when we are in our careers, especially as women, we often do doubt ourselves. And, one of my colleagues gave me this brilliant piece of advice when I was applying for a promotion. And I felt like it was the right time for me. But at the time, my manager didn't really support me. And it was another colleague who actually said to me that, look, glass ceilings, get rid of the glass ceiling that exists in your head. So, don't doubt yourself. Obviously, I wouldn't apply for a CEO role. Be realistic in where you are, in your place in your career at any given time. So be realistic about that. But it's good to talk about these things. And if you do get it, that's wonderful. And if you don't, that's also a good learning experience, because then you can ask your colleagues and your mentors to give you, feedback, and also to advise you on, where are the missing skills or areas you need to develop to then move into that role at a later date. So I think part of it is, we just need to have a little bit of belief in ourselves that, we can do this. I am worthy of this. And, if I get it, it's wonderful. And if it's not, that doesn't mean it's never for me. I just need to work out what's the career development that I need to do to get there.
You've been working now, and you've obviously been progressing in this high-tech industry for more than 20 years. What advice do you think you would give to those young women and men who are just starting out in the high-tech field? What would you tell them?
Yeah, I think I would probably say a combination of the things here. And I think when you first start your career, it's very easy to fall into the trap of thinking that you're the only person who makes mistakes. I remember one of my early memories at Sun was completely messing up an installation of a workstation, only because I picked up the wrong monitor. So the screen rolled. It was a complete disaster. But I kept the customer informed, and I kept them, communicated with them about what I was going to do next. And then the next day I came back with another colleague with the right monitor and got the situation fixed. So I think the thing is, when you're first in your careers, don't expect it to be a smooth ride at any stage in your career. There's always opportunities to develop and to learn. And that's often through mistakes, through experience. So, just, be mindful that you will make mistakes along the way. And the thing is to ask for help and, make sure that you communicate with others, so that whether you're in a customer, partner or internal situation, people are aware that you are still dealing with it. You haven't left it behind or left it for somebody else. You are the person who's responsible for it and will get it fixed. So yeah, I would say that is just expect that it's not going to be a smooth ride, but it is important to communicate and, just believe in yourself that, you can call on your colleagues and your network to help you and assist you whenever
I
needed.
think something that I heard in there that was really key is communicating. And I think that one of the difficult things when you're first starting out, and even I think as you go through the career, is understanding how to communicate with others to get them to understand where you are, but also to let them know what's going on. What communications, or how do you feel that you can communicate in a way that is most effective, given that people now respond to various different types of communication?
Yeah, it's a good point, Cecilia. And, especially when you have teams or you're working with colleagues in many countries as well, it's not so easy to be physically, in front of each other. But, I would say whether it's a WebEx or whether it's a phone call or an email, I would say try and do a face to face, whether it's, via a WebEx with the video on or just picking up the phone. It's so easy to write something in a written form, like an email or a WhatsApp message or a text message. And, especially if you're working across many cultures, can get lost in translation, or people can misinterpret it and read it in the way they want to. And I've always found that if I'm clear in terms of my plan, whether it's my individual plan or whether it's a team plan, if you show others, what you're trying to achieve and why, they're more likely to try and be involved in that. They want to see, success as well and be part of that success. So I think it's important to show your plan to others and then get the feedback from them. Maybe there's something you haven't thought of. So yeah, communications can be many forms, but I always find if you have at least a reference point to start from, it makes it much easier to get others on board to help you, drive the
I
things
think
that
that's
you want
great
to drive
advice.
forward.
I really do appreciate you chatting with me this morning, but I do have one additional question. And it wasn't on my original invite. And it's one actually I just thought up this morning. We're approaching the new year, and we're almost there. I can't believe it's already 2019. But I often ask others, how do you feel about those New Year's resolutions? Do you make them? And if you do, what are you looking forward to doing or planning to do in 2019?
So I always start off the new year with good intention. They usually last about a day. So I think many people will say, why wait till the 1st of January to start a new resolution? If you want to go to the gym more or do weight training or learn to swim, learn to ride a bike, just do it anytime. Obviously some things may be weather pending, but just go for it. And same in terms of resolutions. For me, if I want to try something different, just do it at the time. There's no need to wait until the 1st of January. And then I think, for me, even at the Women in Technology, I was asked
Mm-hmm.
about where do you see yourself in 5 years? And I think that's a really difficult question to answer. And I did say to people that, for me, it's about doing a really good job and being the best version of me that I can be. So, why wait until 1st of January to do that? Be the best version of yourself and be true to yourself anytime. So yeah, I always say that to my kids as well. It's just, if you want to try something, have a go. Don't be scared of failure. We all learn from those lessons. So yeah, just go for it. So yeah, no serious New Year's resolutions apart from just being present a little bit more, I think. So if I'm helping my kids with something, just making sure I'm fully concentrated on it, not half an eye
I think
on my phone or something.
I
So yeah,
definitely think I'd have to
that's
agree with
part of
you.
it as well.
And I think that I'm not a good resolution keeper either, or even a resolution maker. But I agree with you that just, if there's something that you want to do, just get out there and just do it. In looking at that question of what do you plan to do in 5 years, I have no idea. But life can throw so many turns and so many things can happen. But living in the present as though that they're, as if today matters most helps. But, also looking forward to how I can help some other people along the way, I think is key. So I think that's what I think I'll settle on for 2019, being the best me I can be, as well as helping some other people along the way and being present. Well, I thank you so much for joining us with this podcast. I've had a great time talking to you, and I hope to hear more from you. Hopefully, we'll have you on for another episode, and you'll be able to chat with our other colleagues as well. To our listeners, we know you have a bunch of podcasts you could be listening to, and we appreciate the time you took to spend with us and hope that you'll add us to your queue of must listen podcasts. We'd love to hear your feedback. What would you like us to talk about? Send an email to ng-tentpodcast@netapp.com and let us know. Until next time, thank you.